have an arrest warrant for them. Oh, here we go again. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you guys are getting notifications. Don't forget to subscribe to the page if you're new here. Hit that notification bell whenever we go live here. Oh my goodness. Diddy's law firm. Way to go. Way to go, baby. Way to go, Diddy firm. Stand up for Diddy, baby. Diddy got it right. That's what I'm talking about. Now they're doing what they're supposed to do. That lawyer must have been watching Casino for Life. Thank you to that law firm for listening to me and doing what needed to be done. Now, Diddy's new team of lawyers that's handling this, he went and got damn near the Nation of Islam. Yeah, these brothers seem to understand. See, the other lawyer seemed like he was there for a bag. Like, win, lose, or draw, he still get paid. He didn't know how to talk to the press. He was making Cassie look like a straight hoe through the whole production. I mean, really, he was like, well, let's not forget Cassie's a hoe, you know, and I'm like, that's basically how it came off to everybody. He was bashing her the whole time. I was like, I loved it because he was telling the truth. The other lawyer wasn't lying. But now, the way he came out that courtroom was the way it's supposed to be. And on Wednesday night, the day before the trial, well, before this hearing, to get the trial date, because they put in a notion for a speedy trial. And this was something they wanted, and it's only going to be for 1 minute. Diddy still might get out. It's not written in stone that Diddy won't get out. Now, the trial is May 5th, 2025, and it's going to last for 1 month. But here are the key factors in this trial. Now, they have 24/7 paid security that would watch Diddy at his home. Okay, no internet, no phone. He won't be allowed to do any of those, so there won't be any contact. Plus, the contact they said that he did make was just ancillary anyway. It wasn't really anything shaking down people or anything, that they did this false pretense. But they did what I said they should have done in the beginning, is the Cassie videotape that happened to be circulating. They're going to have to go through the chain of command of that tape to see how it was leaked to the internet. And CNN, you guys were the ones to get the exclusive tape. CNN got the exclusive on that tape. So now CNN is going to have to divulge where they got that footage. Because if they got that footage from Homeland Security, if they got that script from Homeland Security or that footage, then right away that footage will be thrown out. You can't, all the stuff that you based around that footage won't be used in trial. That gives them enough time. They were hoping for March and April. The defense is putting a lot of pressure on them to present a case and for them to defend it. So now they have to hurry up. So by them doing what they've been doing, they've been violating his civil rights. They've been violating his rights to a fair trial. If you proceed in the way that they've been proceeding, how can he have a fair trial? How could Diddy have a fair trial if you're going to do that and submerge information? Right? And all this stuff y'all been seeing on the internet, all these other people been saying this craziness has been right. It's not been credible. A lot of the stuff they saying is all speculation to keep the fire going online. You know, if one person said, "Oh, they found this on the tape. They found that on the tape. Here's a Diddy party. Here's that. Here's that. Here's this." And it's so much disinformation that's out there that it's gonna warp the minds of a juror. You know, how can you have a fair trial? So they asked for a gag order on this case because the information that was in the trial was leaking online. So Emily Johnson, who's the U.S. attorney, the USSA, the AUSSA rather, she got mad going after the defense claims during that the first appearance by the new judge, Arun Subramanian. He will proceed over the whole trial. While Diddy's mother flew in from Florida for the proceedings, she sat right behind him with the kids and the other family members in the courtroom gallery. So she had a offense to the whole argument that the late submission Wednesday that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security leaked that photo to the media, and Diddy was punching and kicking his former protege and girlfriend, Cassie, in that hallway in 2016. You know, they said that CNN aired it in May and alleged the government leaked it, and that had led to damaging a pre-trial publicity, and it can taint the jury pool and ruin his, chance at a fair trial. Same thing I said. And I said that from the beginning. And the lawyers he got in there agreed with me that that video is the problem. But Johnson went begging the judge, begging them, like, see through these baseless accusations, a damning piece of evidence. She's like, no, a single one of those alleged leaks are from members of the prosecution team. So now the judge said, all right, he told Diddy's lawyer to write a proposed order that he would sign, instructing the lawyers on both sides to comply with the rules of prohibiting them from publicly disclosing information that could taint a jury. The prospective order, which is a gag order, that's going to restrict both of them from sides from publicly saying anything about the case. And she was mad. She was like, well, I don't like the way he went on a TMZ interview last month, the lawyer, and said that this case was about a takedown of a successful black man. This is not about taking down a black man. Oh, yeah. This is about racketeering, conspiracies, and trafficking for years with help from a network of associates and employees while silencing victims for years from a network of employees doing this. We're talking physical beatings, kidnapping, arson. Well, Diddy was more engaged, more alert, more into what was happening this time around. He saw his family in the courtroom. He felt good. When he saw him, he smiled at him. Anthony Rico whispered in Diddy's ear as Johnson spoke about electronic material seized from his residence and from him during the arrest. And they saying that he's doing his best to make it out of a difficult situation. He started quoting Dr. Martin Luther King. Something you got to do, baby. You got to make this thing, you got to Johnny Cochran this thing. Because this thing is going to get out of hand. It's already been out of hand, but you need to understand where this is going. Exactly, Mutombo. Give you a rundown on 2024 Mr. Olympia. I won't be in it this year. That's my rundown. Right. Diddy settled with Cassie. That video is like 3-4 years old. It's older than that. That was in 2016. That's like 8 years ago. It was never meant to see the light. Exactly. Never meant to see the light. Mm-hmm. So, with a gag order on the case, and the judge is going to sign it off, this new judge, this recklessness that we've been seeing should calm down. Exactly. We're having issues with people who are finding ways to tamper with the trial itself. And when you start having those notions come into play, as you can see that the lawyer here and what he was saying in the courtroom.
Time ago, lawyers for Sean P. Diddy Combs spoke to reporters after today's court hearing. It's pretty brief, but let's listen.
How's he doing?
I can never remember what I said over here.
How's he doing?
He's doing fine. Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. So sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get. And so he's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
Anthony, is it a racist proceeding, as Marcus said?
Nobody's okay with staying in jail for now. Okay, thank you very much. That's it for today.
See? And there it is. They let him do the talking. See? You let brother man do the talking, and Barack Obama's cousin over there behind him with the bow tie. You got the nation of domination, baby. They coming right on in. Now, as you can see, he's already getting ready to to insinuate this is a black man going through something. And see, no one could hit home on that than a black man in a bow tie and a hat looking like he just came from a civil rights rally. Nobody's gonna make that look better. Puffy's lawyers got embarrassed today. They got everything they wanted. That's what you don't understand. They want a speedy trial. The state don't want a speedy trial. They don't want it in May. They were hoping they can get it pushed back. They tried to get it as early as March. They want to get this trial over with, and it's only going to run for 1 month. That's it. Trial's going to be 1 month, and that's it. It's done. I never saw Cassie get a right cross in the video. What are you talking about? I ain't saying he's opposed to doing that, but once again, he's not on trial for the video. The video is to make him look bad. Just because there's a video of Diddy grabbing her by the collar and throwing her on the ground and attempting to try to kick her does not mean there was underage people at these parties. He was feeding her drugs. None of all this other stuff. He's taking her through traffic. So if you really had a case, the feds, why would you leak that video out to the media? Wow, how would it leak out to the media? So you mean to tell me that all of a sudden the federal government gets involved and raid Diddy, then all of a sudden a video is leaked that was 8 years ago? That video would have been out years ago to the media. Somebody in your command got it. And CNN is going to have to explain how they got the footage, because the defense has filed a motion into an investigation into the findings of that video. They want to find out who got that video, where did it come from, how did CNN come in possession of that item. So I don't know what you're talking about. The defense got everything they wanted to have done. They got the speedy trial. It's going to be 1 month, and it's going to be. If the hotel leaked out the video, how would the hotel leak out the video when they would have done it 8 years ago? Why would the hotel leak out the video when Diddy gets raided? It doesn't make any sense. The video is from 2016. So it was no reason 8 years ago. Oh yeah, it was a reason. It's a reason at any time. Do you think somebody would hold on to a video of Diddy doing violence on a woman? Are you kidding me? You know how much money you would get off that from TMZ and anywhere else? How would Cassie have a copy of that hotel video? And if that was the case, why would she leak that when she just signed an NDA and made an agreement? So if she had that tape, Cassie would not submit or release that tape to the media. It wouldn't make sense for her to do that. Law and Crime says CNN got it from the hotel. Well, if CNN got it from the hotel from 2016, that doesn't even make sense that the hotel would hold on to footage from 8 years ago. Who stores footage from 8 years ago in a hotel surveillance system? You see? Right. Somebody said that hotel is not in business anymore. So, right. How did they get that? So they're going to do their investigation, and they're investigating the discovery of that footage. Now, if that footage is found that it's got any leak back to the prosecution, that tape is thrown out. And now you can't use that tape. And if you can't use that tape in court, and you have to omit everything you saw on the tape to try to base his character off of the tape, then you're done. Your case loses power, and then they could pretty much say, well, all these case charges here that you're basing it off of, this was the basis for your raid. Well, the bail is still up for, they're going to a higher court to see about that. Today was to get the actual date in court, and they submitted a case, a very strong case for him to be released. You've seen people who have been committed for murder get out on bail. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was on $100 million bail. This is Epstein we're talking about. So why is Puffy Combs not get bail? That's what I'm trying to tell people. The bail is not on the docket. Thank you for bringing that up. The bail wasn't on the docket for today. You see, that's what I'm saying. You got all of these internet people out here that's running around talking, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The bail docket was not today. This was to get the actual court date because they want a speedy trial. So the defense for Puffy is pushing to get a date so they can have this gone so that the prosecution don't have time to sit around and hold on a year while this case is going on. They wanted it in March or April, but May is suffice. So May 5th, the court date, the trial will start May 5th, and it's going to run a month. So about June 5th, it will all be over. So that's what they want. So the defense got what they wanted. The prosecution in the court, they want more time because they're like, well, we got to process this, and we're having problem because most of this stuff is old technology and we can't get to the information. That is BS. That is BS. It's going on a microchip, woman, and that's very easy to get done. the prosecution could easily get that stuff off on a microchip. They're lying. They just want more time to try to get more people to come up with more case charges and more accusations, and they have nothing that is even suffice or even close to being that. Now, oh yeah, they do a lot of things out there. They put out a lot of people's information. They want people to come forward because they have no case. Diddy was happy. He smiled. He saw his mom and children in court. Right. Real human emotion, because this is a real case. You know, like he said, you know, the people on the internet have made it look like a joke, but a request to a higher court will be the ticket to go. Yep, exactly. You see, brothers know what to do to fight the system. You know, you got to let the white guy sit back a little bit and let the brothers handle this. Brother gonna handle all the talking to the press. Brother gonna know what to say. Brother got on Dr. King hat. Brother, you know, brother gonna bring you back to reality. He gonna bring the black people back to reality. You know, it's hard to do that with a white guy up there talking analytics and just about the case. No, you gotta have brother up there. Brother gonna take you back to Tulsa. Brother gonna take you back Black Wall Street. He gonna take you back to everything. And then it's gonna wake some of these people up. These people who, this is funny. They ain't gonna start thinking, wait a minute, yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute, what was I thinking? All right, you gotta wake some of these brothers up. They sleep. You got Dr. King hat and Malcolm X behind him. So you got King and Malcolm X together, unified. And they coming out to defend Diddy, and this is it. Boy, I tell you, the Diddy CD after this is gonna be incredible. The new music Diddy gonna put out after this, the new night. Oh my goodness. The Night Guilty remix, boy, that's gonna be it. Woo. Well, they're making a go at it with the MDC. They've been very responsive to them. The second U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeals is where the bail rulings are going to go. They're going to ask a panel of judges to reverse the bail findings, saying that the proposed bail package would plainly stop him from posing a danger to anyone or contacting any witnesses. So they urged the Court of Appeals to reject the findings of the lower court judge, who they said endorsed the government's exaggerated rhetoric and ordered Mr. Combs to be detained. So that's why they want that just gone, because that judge just was not equipped and just went along with whatever the prosecution said. And most of what they said was complete rhetoric. So I agree with that. People thought I was just defending Diddy. And this is just a whole case of a lot of people trying to make something that isn't there. Now, y'all want to talk about these other cases, the 120 cases from Texas. This is the same guy, the same judge, whatever lawyer, who these people that they have, and they say they got this evidence, we've already proved and shown to you without a fraction of a doubt that the majority of this stuff is plagued by hearsay and internet speculation. They've been showing videos of Diddy from a actual party that they had that was a pool party, and people were there. It's videotaped professionally. And they're taking videos and trying to cut it at certain points of the video to show that, oh, there's something like wrong that's happening here. And now they want to blame Puffy for women being hoes. So it's like, okay, if you're a hoe, this is your fault because you're a hoe. Diddy made you go out there to a party. There's never been a party that you've seen these women at that they were forced. In any of these tapes, people love to go to a Diddy party. He don't have to force women to come to his parties and get down. He don't have to force. He don't have to force any of these women to do anything. These women are freaks. That is not true. Sean Puffy Combs did not settle the Texas cases. I don't know where people, that's what I'm saying. This is where I keep talking about, where people who are making salacious accusations and these judicial systems, he has not settled with anybody from Texas. Why was he drugging them? Who said that he was? That's their interpretations. These people are liars. Liars. And when you have a bunch of liars and you can't tell me when you hear these people talk that they're not lying. You had a woman that used to get down with Diddy come out all of a sudden to defriend her partner who's talking about they're going to get money in a civil suit, mentioning Kanye and Diddy did this to us. Did what? Party with y'all? It's insanity. Right. It's supposed to be innocent to proven guilty. How much they paying me, Jay Blizzy? And I wish they was paying me. YouTube been punishing me because I'm not going along with the agenda. Because the agenda is slander Puffy and you'll get views. Slander Puffy and we'll promote your video. Well, they can have fun in the chat all they want. But y'all don't understand 1 + 1 = 2. Now, if y'all okay with this, and this is funny, they could turn around and do this to any other black man in the world. They will turn around and do this to anybody they see fit. They did it to Jonathan Majors. You saw that brother running for his life from that white woman. He did not hit that woman. He could have knocked her out 1,000 times. She's jumping on him, but it's okay if she's attacking him in his personal space. All he did was grab this woman and back her up and run away from her because he did not want to surrender his property, which is his phone, to her. And she's trying to take the phone away from him. And he's trying to prevent her from taking his phone. He gets out of the car just to get away from her and run away. And you ain't finna catch Cain the Conqueror. Then she goes in the nightclub on his credit card, parties it up, started drinking and getting wild, and her so-called broken finger. Oh, she's moving her hand perfectly, as they got the footage and everything. Used his credit card, charged everything up. He wasn't even there. He called the police. She never called the cops. He called the cops when he found her, his vomit in his bed, and she's knocked out sleep in the closet. He called the police. And they built a case against him and said he beat it. So this is what we got to look at right here when we see situations such as the Jonathan Major case. You know what we did? Nothing. Nobody in high profile. Now, I'm not talking about the internet. I'm talking about blacks that's high in power. There was no Denzel Washington come forward. There was nobody in Hollywood that stood up for Jonathan Majors. Michael B. Jordan was like, this is my new best friend in the world. Man, once that case hit, he went nowhere near Jonathan Majors. He abandoned him. Everybody stood away from him. Now, this is what we're talking about. We don't have each other's backs. This is what happened when your back broken. And Kales was charged with racketeering. How is it racketeering and you're the only one on the case? How is it a RICO charge? RICO is conspiracy in concert, right? Who was he in concert with? How are you going to put a RICO case on one man, on evidence from the 1990s, past the statute of limitation, old stuff that was in another trial? The case should have been omitted and he should have been out. And they're dragging their feet. They're dragging their feet on dismissing his case. That lets you know right there, the Southern District of New York is just like the TV show Billions. They're that corrupt. Yes, they're exactly corrupt. Now, right. And everybody wants to, they want to make their money off the case. So, like, all the people on the internet, they just gonna keep making a video. Oh, Diddy is in big trouble now, so that they'll get all the views, they'll get all the attention, they'll get all the noise. But they're gonna omit everything. They're gonna omit the fact that this one girl came out with Gloria Alford, text her doggone ex-boyfriend and offered him $3 million to go along with her story on Diddy. None of that seems strange. That all of these people came forward now with civil cases because they all want money. Did they tell you over 3,000 people tried to file a case and then they eliminated and only got like what, 120? 120 is a very clear number. You knew it was BS when they said we got 60 males, 60 females. It's like, really? Really? The news, if you research, is attractive enough. If you want to get views, at least tell them the truth about what's actually going on here. All it takes is a little bit of research, and you can get the information and what's going on and what's presented out there. It's there. It's just going to take some effort and work. But nobody wants to do that anymore. Everybody wants to be a hack. So if you want to be a hack and go ahead and do it for hits and views, that's cool. But don't try to go at it and preach at it like it's facts and try to damage everybody else like what you're saying is the truth. They haven't even got to the weapons or drug charges. Now they saying, well, what about these weapons and drug charges? They're not even worried about that because what they want is the racketeering and the SA charges to stand in trial. They want those to stand up. Because when the new allegations were filed, with these 120, right on the number, 120. And trying to use Diddy, a black man, as the entertainment mogul to go after Hollywood. We want to go against these enablers who enable this conduct behind closed doors and pursue this matter, no matter what the evidence implicates, like who is in the evidence. They're trying to say we got all these celebrities, so the celebrities would panic and come out and say things, and somebody might go ahead and bring forth some new information that might bring things in there. It's like, it's many powerful people, many dirty secrets. This is what the lawyer said that's representing these people. Many powerful people, many dirty secrets. That sounds like a doggone Lifetime movie. Now, there's an essay, abuse of minors, involved in a situation or a case. And they said it's a long list already because of the nature of this case. We're going to make sure, damn, before we do that, these names will shock you. Now, right there, you're trying to elicit a response from people by saying that. You're trying to get the news and the media and social media up in an uproar when you're saying these names will shock you. Many powerful people, many dirty secrets. Come watch the Diddy Lifetime movie. And then now the internet is going to be speculating and, oh, it's Jennifer Lopez. Oh, it's this person. Oh, it's that person. Diddy was holding hands with this person. Oh, it's this, is that. And then all of a sudden they're going back to cases. That means you have nothing. You have a lot of circumstantial evidence of people who were hoes, probably strippers, that probably got down, and now the money's gone. Here they come with a case. And unfortunately, as Black people, we're so caught up into whatever white media tell us that we follow white media, and we follow white media's outrage. If white media is outraged, we got to be outraged. We going to make a joke out of it when the seriousness of it is this is what it is. And people just in it for the money, the quick money. Because if you said Diddy is a bum or whatever, they're not gonna come after you. Do you know how much hate I went through right now? They sabotaging the video right now. They're sabotaging my video right now, all because I'm saying what's actually happening and what's real. They don't want that out to the world. Now, the lawyer said after 3,000 people have come forward with his office with allegations, they landed on 120. And then he said 62% identifies African American and held for more than 25 states. The majority of them are New York, California, Georgia, and Florida. And 25 of the accusers were minors at that time of the alleged incident, some as early as 1991. Then he claimed one of the accusers was as young as 9 at the time of their alleged incident. So Diddy's legal team emphasized that he cannot address every meritless accusation in what has become a reckless media circus. Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that has sexually abused anyone, okay, including minors. His lawyer, Erica Wolf, who's representing him in this situation, said he looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court if and when claims are filed and served, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. Now, that's right. Well, the Southern District of New York is charging Mr. Combs with SA, with trafficking, racketeering, which is basically transportation to engage in a prostitution and an indictment until last month. He pleaded not guilty, and his lawyer says he's innocent of all charges. So that's what he's been charged with. They went to a higher judge to appeal the bail decision that was made by the previous judge, and we'll see when that actually comes around, and we'll give you the information when that happens. Yeah, Busby, he represented the women that were coming after Deshaun Watson for that massage thing. He went and filed a $750 million lawsuit against Travis Scott when that Astro World Fest went down and somebody got crushed. So he went and filed that. You know, this lawyer is known for this. You know, this is what he does. That Texas lawyer. Right. And then, they was like, oh, talk about the Don Richards situation. Well, Don Richards came through and said that while she was in Danity Kane, he imprisoned her, assaulted her, groped her while she was in the group. Uh, Diddy denied all claims through his lawyers, calling them sickening allegations, people looking for a quick payday. Many of these lawsuits were filed in New York City. How convenient, which has a victims of gender motivated violence protection law, which allow people to file lawsuits of alleged SA even after the statute of limitations has passed. This law was created, right, to supposedly help these people who have been going through this process and the statute of limitations have passed. Now they're looking at it in New York City because New York City has this gender motivated violence protection law. See, they don't tell you about this. Nobody's telling you about this. That's why you're here. No one has ever told you about that. That's a law they put in place to try to supersede it. That's why most of these people are going to file in New York. This is why the District of New York has the case. You see, Miami don't have the case. You see, California don't have the case. New York has the case. And you never heard one of these YouTubers mention it ever. Show me one YouTuber that mentioned it. Okay, law and crime. If they said it, no one. Okay, well, I meant regular YouTubers. But if they said it, then great. But I don't go along with what Law and Crime said either, because Law and Crime has been doing some salacious bullshit right along with everybody else. New York put that law in place because they was trying to protect. But here's the thing. What's a victims of gender motivated violence protection law? What is that? How can you prove it's gender motivated? Right? Now that's going to be hard to prove in a court of law, because even though you could say, okay, well, takes us out of the statute of limitation because there's no statute of limitation for that law. Okay, well, how is it gender motivated? Somebody is coaching somebody, right? They are coaching someone. And telling him what to do. You can clearly see. Now, it's a civil cause of action for victims of crimes of violence that was perpetrated due to the victim's gender and due at least partly animously towards them. Now, how are you saying it's because of your gender? How can you prove that in a court of law when clearly they got males that saying that they were attacked too? So how are you going to prove that it is gender based? Oh, I'll definitely show you where I got it at. Right here, American Legal. See, actions by victims of gender motivated violence. So as you can see, I'm not making anything up. This is what they're really going by. This is the laws. some of the witnesses who are going to be called up about the Biggie hit. Y'all ain't even up to that part of Diddy charges yet. Diddy has not been charged. Okay, Diddy has not been charged with anything to do with a Biggie hit. He hasn't been charged with anything to do with a Tupac hit. The Tupac family doing an investigation personally into that does not even make sense. This is why I keep talking about people with actual cases and actual situations versus salacious activities, right? This is what we were talking about. Now, look at this declaration of, legislative findings and intent. See, gender motivated violence inflicts serious physical, psychological, emotional, and economic harm on its victims. Congressional findings have documented that gender motivated violence is widespread throughout the United States, representing the leading cause of injuries to women of ages 15 to 44. Now, here's the thing. Why are they saying gender motivated and you just said women? Okay. Further statistics have shown that 3 out of the 4 women will be the victim of a violent crime sometime in their lives. As many as 4 million women a year are victims to DV. Senate hearings, various task force, and U.S. States Department of Justice has concluded that the victims of gender-motivated violence frequently face a climate of condescension, indifference, and hostility in the court system, and have documented a legal system hostility towards SA and domestic violence claims. Recognizing this widespread problems, Congress in 1994 provided victims of a gender-motivated violence with a cause of action in federal court through the Violence Against Women Act. There it is, VAWA. This is the section, the title, everything. In May 15, 2000, the decision of the United States Supreme Court held that the Constitution provides no basis for a federal cause of action by victims of gender-motivated violence against perpetrators of offenses committed against them, either under the Commerce Clause or the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. And so, ruling, the court held that it could think of no better example of the police power, which the founders denied the national government and reposted the United States that the suppression of violent crime and vindicating of its victims. Now, breaking down the definitions as used in the chapter, right? Crime of violence. Crime of violence means an act or series of acts that would constitute a misdemeanor or felony against a person as defined in a state or federal law that would constitute a misdemeanor or a felony against properly as defined in state or federal law if the conduct presents a serious risk of physical injury to another, whether or not those acts have actually resulted in criminal charges, prosecution, or conviction. Crime of violence motivated by gender. The term crime of violence motivated by gender means a crime of violence committed because of gender, or on this basis of gender, and due, at least in part, to animously based on victim's gender. Cause of an action, right? This is provided by the law. Any person claiming to be injured by a party, that is, who commits or directs, enables participation or conspires in the commission of a crime of violence motivated by gender, has a cause of action. Such party, any court, judicial system of any kind following relief. So what it all comes down to, and the common denominator in this situation, it's very clear. The common denominator here is one thing: gender-based. Now, gender-based. How do you prove something is gender-based? You know, that's what I want to know. How do you prove it's gender-based? Well, right. I mean, it's not them. You got this former hip hop cop, Derek Parker, who was a former detective who they really didn't like his practices as he was getting paid just to hang out and watch rappers. They felt he was compromised anyway. Now he's trying to make money off this salaciousness, talking about there were freak off parties and LeBron James was at freak out parties at Diddy's house. How would he know? You know, it's just like it's people like police officers are doing it. You got these officers coming up like I was the bike cop when Tupac was there. I talked to Tupac. Same thing Pac said. These people who didn't like him is now coming forward with all of this craziness. You got people on high alert and they all doing salacious acts. Now, they didn't want to show you what I put up earlier on a video about Diddy getting the judge removed. And why did they get the judge removed? This is why. What's the connection with this judge and the other judge that superseded him? Did you know anything about this judge? For an appeal right here. The number is there. The certified docket for U.S. Court of Appeals is there. The appeal record sent it to the USCA, indicating that they wanted to appeal to be filed by Sean Combs, and it was transmitted to the U.S. Courts of Appeals. Notice of attorney appearance, Anthony L. Rico appearing as Sean Combs. All of these things were retained as far as to a case to Sean Combs is being reassigned. The judge was Arun Subramanian, and Judge Andrew L. Carter Jr. is no longer being assigned to this case as far as 10/3/2024. Now, how big and huge is that? That Diddy is not going to have anyone deciding this case around him. How outstanding this is. He's going to have a judge that's in place that you've never really heard of in your life. This guy is going to decide if Diddy is going to win an appeal or be out on bail, which I don't know why he isn't out on bail anyway, but you know, that's beside the point. Now the situation has grown to a certain point where you have to question the whole system that's going down here. I'm checking my scores, so don't mind me. checking my bank. But when the rabbit has the gun, it's a little bit different. Now, let's get into who this judge really is. He is the first Indian man to ever be a judge in the New York, Southern District of New York. This man has done some great things in the community for Indian people. And how did he get his votes? Well, he did get hit with a support package. That support package came in heavy. Yeah, it came in quite heavy. And that support package that came in.
What's that support package? Tell him, Sino.
Made it quite easier for him to breathe. You see, when a lot of people come in and start waving their fingers around and making demands and talking about the way they want it to go, you start to see one or two things. Some people are serious, and some people just ain't. It's just the way it is. Now, sorry about that. I got another call come through. Now, as Arun Subramanian is taking over and first Indian American New York District Court judge just last year. Is taking over the Diddy case. It gives off a lot of flags. Now, you might be asking yourself a question that a lot of people are asking. How, why is this important? Why are we wasting our time? Why is this so important, people? It's because with all this media attention going against Diddy and all of these things that's going on, you appoint and get a judge changed after 2 new lawyers was added to the case for Diddy. Motion to switch judges was placed. Now, you got a judge who you could possibly work with. He's new. But this judge is more for the realm of entertainment. What do I mean by entertainment, you say? What does that even mean, Sino? The realm of entertainment. What does that mean? Well, it means this. When you get in the water and the water's bubbling hot, right? You know to jump out. But you know eventually that water, if it sits, it's going to cool down due to the temperature around it. How did this guy have the push so they could have their first Indian person to get into this equation? How did we get here? Not to take away from the judge's work himself, but the, state of New York, in the Senate in New York City, is pretty much propped up on the entertainment division. Pro-democratic, pro-left. And let's take you through another example here of what's going on. Rahm Emanuel, who's now the United States ambassador of Japan, the former mayor of Chicago, Illinois, who made it his business to personally go after Juicy Smollett for pulling a hoax here in Chicago, right? And before he was sworn out, as he was leaving the office as mayor, he wanted to see justice. But he was in the entertainment business. But Juicy was never going to see any time behind bars, right? They got their perk walk that they wanted, right? The city and everything else. They didn't like the way he gave a speech and smirked and walked off. They wanted to see him go to jail. Why is that? Because they know what I know. They know that they control that whole game. And what they did in that whole game, in that frame of time, with everything that they were doing over there, Rahm Emanuel, who was the face of the William Morris Agency, who now runs Endeavor, which owns the UFC and WWE. Now you see what we're talking about here? Now, Dana White with the UFC is with Endeavor, right? Dana White beat his wife in 1080p in front of everybody to see, the whole world. Put his hands on his wife. She hit him. He hit her back and hit her some more. Right? We saw that. We saw with no punishment from Endeavor whatsoever. Then we saw Endeavor with Vince McMahon. Allegations were coming out. The man had basically resigned, stepped down because of these allegations. Stephanie was the face of the programming. Then he comes back to power with Stephanie completely out of the picture. Then more allegations come with text messages and all. Endeavor had a deal with keeping this man behind the scenes. No one sees him anymore. It won't be a part of programming, but we're going to keep him there with stock options. $2 billion in stocks. Then this latest thing, they had to cut all ties with him altogether because it was just too massive of information and everything coming out against him. So they let him keep his stock options and everything. The man never went behind bars, never been arrested, never been anything. No perk walks, nothing. They're still working and building a case against this man. So let that stick in, right? That's Endeavor. That's Ari Emanuel, who's all the way on the right. And that's the brother of Rahm Emanuel, whose best friend is Barack Obama, Barack took him in Chicago to the White House. He sent Rahm Emanuel to run for office here when Daley was getting ready to retire. Rahm Emanuel never wanted to be the mayor of Chicago. It was an assignment given to him by Barack Obama. Now he's back working for the White House. The United States ambassador for Japan. For being a good soldier. They needed someone to go. They couldn't have the mayor be a Republican in Chicago. They just couldn't have that. Now, what does this have to do? They pulled all the strings in New York to help get the first super young, wet behind the ears, Arun Subramanian, an Indian American, to be in the New York District Court, to be the judge. And his first big case is Diddy, an entertainment lawyer, basically. I mean, an entertainment judge with ties to people in entertainment. And he said, oh, just because he's Indian, they might not be the same type of Indian. People, my Patreons. Before I put this on YouTube, we will go ahead and explain what happens here in the city of New York. The Indian community love to support their own and build what they call money trees, right? That we call. And build these programs where this guy actually thanked the mayor, like Rahm Emanuel, and he thanked, Barack Obama and people of this nation. He knows he's not someone that's alien to who Rahm Emanuel really is. He was more than just the mayor of Chicago. There's a lot of other players in this game as well. Now, let's take a look at this. What's behind the rabbit hole once again? So this is what's developing yet again. You remember Kal Penn from Harold and Kumar? Barack Obama personally took this guy into the White House. And it was only revealed a few years ago, he came out with his sexuality, that he's gay and he's going to marry his partner, Josh, who he's been engaged to and been dating for 11 years. And no one knew his secret relationships. But he is one of the other persons as well as a special personal liaison of the White House and having that job. And people was like, what is Kal Penn from Harold and Kumar doing at that job? It's like people didn't realize that he was actually a smart human being and was good with relations with his people, even though he does not use his last name, which is Modi. I know a lot of the Modi people. Now, as we start to look at big picture here, and as we start moving forward, and this whole race of Galavan of what we need to do to transcend to move forward, a lot of us are not exceptionally well in this world of simile of friends in the business. So this judge that we're talking about now, this young judge, had the backing, Kal Penn, Rahm Emanuel, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, all of these people in the circle of friends that they had. Ari Emanuel, Rahm Emanuel, are you kidding me? Those are the most powerful people in the industry. And then this guy just gets his first big case, which is the Diddy case. They switched this guy. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm not saying anything about collusion or anything like that. I just put the cards on the table. And now I just want to see how they get played out in front of all of our eyes. But don't say I ain't tell y'all nothing. All right. All right, Patreons, I'm out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease. Shout us out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life, Ticket TV, The Dreamers Pro. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube and watching this, you're late because the Patreon had it first. I'm out.